Good morning, it's Wednesday, the day after Tuesday. As you may recall, yesterday we put the cylinders and pistons into this green and white Tri TR6. I think it's a 66 Tri TR6. And we also put the rubber cushions into the hub of the clutch hub on this 63, I think it is, Triumph. And right now you can see, we have a huge puddle of oil under it because it's on the side stand and there's no seal in the transmission. So that's just all the tranny oil that leaked out when I put it on the side stand. My bad. But it does illustrate that if you have oil under your bike when it sits on the side stand, that the primary suspect can be the transmission main shaft oil seal, because when it sits on the side, the oil is up to the level of the seal, in my humble opinion. Okay, so if you have a leak on the side stand, suspect the tranny main shaft seal. They fail all the time in the bikes I work on. So let's go back out here. I'm going to do some more work on this guy this morning. Kevin's working in his shop. So I put the valves in the head last night, and I'm getting ready to drop this head on. And I've got the O-rings for the push rods all set out. I do use the red gasket sealer on all of them. It lubricates the installation and it seals them nicely. But right now I'm going to take this copper head gasket in and anneal it on the stove, and then we'll come out and use it. So we'll go do that next. All right, let's do the annealing. I'll set this up right about here. I'll try to stay out of the view. It's hard to do. It'd be really neat if I had a cameraman or a director to tell me to keep your shoulder out of the viewfinder, right? But I don't, and I do. So anyway, we're going to anneal this guy. I've got put that on there. It doesn't really help much, but it's better than on a flat surface. This is MAP gas. It's extra hot. I go around and around, watching the copper. And you can sort of tell when you've reached maximum because it turns color. When you start chasing the color around the head gasket, you know you're there. I don't know if you can see the color changing here. Definitely there. Take it off and toss it into the cold water. Oh, makes an interesting noise. And that is all. Take it inside and clean it. Take it into the shop and clean it a bit. That's annealed and ready to be reused. Well, I've never known any pro or con to cleaning these, wire wheeling them after you do the annealing process. I always do. Now, sometimes I get a lot of slag or scale on there. This one came out really, really clean. So there's no real need, but I'm just going to take it over and hit it with the wire wheel. Maybe by roughing up the surfaces, maybe the sealer that I use, copper coat, might just, I don't know, seal better? I don't know. It's hypothetical. I'm just going to go clean it up just a little bit and then use it. All right, bright and shiny. just cleaned off, just a little bit. All right, so let's start the process. Well, putting Triumph heads on is a whole lot easier than Norton heads, but it's still tricky, especially getting the pushrod tubes in place without causing the little white washers to roll over and not lay flat. So I'm going to set the camera up on the other side of the bike and see if we can do this successfully. All right, so I use this Permagasket anaerobic gasket maker sealer, and it's just too darned expensive to waste. So when it gets down to the point where you've got an empty tube, well, frankly, folks, there's a lot left. So what I do is I squeeze it out into a cap off of a can of cleaner, and then I cut these open. And let me tell you, there's enough of this stuff in this empty tube to overhaul a couple of engines. You know, why waste it? I usually buy this stuff online, like 10 tubes at a time. I have no idea what the retail cost on these things is, but it's a lot, this particular stuff. This is probably about $15 a tube. And I just don't want to waste it. So I've just saved all of this, and that's enough. I swear there's enough there to overhaul a whole engine, I believe. Now, in the meantime, I'm just going to go over here and use my fingers to put a little on each of these. Might as well. Just light coat. Like I say, it acts as a lubricant when it all goes together, and it acts as a sealer when it's put down. I'll do these two top ones at the same time. And I'll put a little around the top and the bottom of these, just because I like both surfaces to have sealer on them. Hope you can see all this. Expect you can. Well, that was fun. All right, I'm going to spray this head gasket with copper coat. I like this stuff. I really do. All right, so let's see how this works out. Put these bottom seals on first. Get it around the lifter block without it twisting. They love to twist. And as soon as you see them twisting, you have to get in there and press them down. Get them over the block without being twisted. Okay. Line up your push rod holes horizontally. If they just made the space between the cylinders a little wider, it would have been so nice. But they didn't. Let's see if I can drop this head on now and get everything in place. I'm over here out of camera range, putting just a little bit of sealer inside the tube seats on the head. Like I say, I like everything to have a coat of sealer. I don't like any dry surfaces. Okay. So now I've got sealer inside the receptacles on the top of the head. Tube sealers. All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's see what happens here. How do we get this in? With all these push rods in place. Without messing up the gaskets. That's pretty good. They're lined up. They're dropped in. Everything's up inside there. I don't see any rolled edges. All right. I'm going to put a few bolts in and tighten it down. I'm assuming I can drop these in any time. Which might be a bad assumption. I'm going to do that while I still have some wiggle room. Okay, why wouldn't that go in? I don't know why. Okay, so I'm not necessarily seating them properly. I'm just getting them in there. While I'm still able to move the head around. Okay. Shit. Can't do that till the rocker's gone. All right. Let's try my spiffy new right angle wrench and see how it works. All I'm going to do is snug these down. All right. Okay, I'm going to stop this for a minute while I reconnoiter what I'm going to do next. All right, I'm back. Been gone a little. Went over here and cleaned up all these head bolts and rocker box studs and bolts, and I'm ready to start putting the studs in the rockers and the rockers on top of the engines and the remaining head bolts and doing some tightening. So let's see how this goes. Okay, well, if you do a lot of work, mechanical work, these stud drivers are just worth their weight in gold. I cleaned out all these holes with a Q-tip dipped in oil, so they are clean. Some just easier to screw the things into than others. Okay. All right, so theoretically those are ready to be dropped on. These are ready to be dropped in. And these are ready to be dropped in upon the end. So let's get that done, see how it goes. Right now the head bolts that are in it now are just snugged down. They're not tight, but they're snugged. I'm going to drop the rocker boxes on as soon as I get the gaskets out of this gasket kit. And I'll stop that while I do that. All right, a good hint is once you've got this far, you've got the gaskets in place, push rods in place. All these push rods should turn. You can feel them swiveling on the valve lifters down below. A good hint is to put a glob of grease in the cups on the bottom of the push rods. You push it before you drop them down so that when they land on the lifters, they'll be held in place by the suction a little bit. That's a good hint. The other good hint is to remember to do that, which I didn't, so I didn't. And I'm not going to take them out. So right now, let's see if I can drop these on, always remembering that the oil lines go on the left side. So I'm going to try to drop this on. I have turned all of the adjusters all the way out. And I have the lifters up as far as they can go so that the push rods will mate with the little ball bearings on the end of the rocker arms. Let's see how I can get this in here. And drop it in place. It looks level. Like it should just drop on. Am I forgetting something? Show of hands. Anybody? Do you see what I've forgotten? I think it's just these forward studs. They seem to be level. There it goes. All right. Now, these should theoretically fall right into their push rods. Leave that there for a second. Let's do the other one. That one fell right in. All right, now, this is fun here. You can take these long head bolts and stick them in, but you're going to find out that this side will go in up against the frame. The other side will clear the frame. That's because these engines are slightly offset to that side, so because of the primary. So if you do this side first, I swear I thought it was the other side first, but like so, let me get it. All right, that one did drop in. It do drop in. Let's try this one. Because I think it's the other side that you have the problem with. Same. Let's get to the other side. I'll take you with me. All right, now I believe this is the side that tends to get hung up on the frame. So let's try it and see what happens. Now see right here, it's conflicted against the frame. Now you can put the flat up against the frame, hit it hard with a hammer and it'll go down, but that scratches the frame. So what I do, leaving the rocker boxes just a little loose, you can tilt them just a little bit, like so. Come on, tilt it like that and it'll drop right in. And this one, same, once I break it free. this was the tight one. And don't I know, every time I want to show you something cool and spiffy, it doesn't work. So I'm going to do the exactly what I told you not to. This side's clear, there's no reason for it to not lift up. And there it goes. Okay, so there, started. I'm dropping the little rocker box bolts in place. So they won't be bound up. These little guys. Okay, this is something cool. I took the socket that fits these head bolts and I welded another socket onto it, making it a deep weld socket, which lets it fit over these head bolts here really nicely. Now I can torque all these down. Okay, at this point the head is on, the pushrod tubes are on, the push rods are in, the rocker boxes are on, the head bolts are snugged down tight, the rocker boxes are snugged down tight, but not torqued yet. And I just went through and made sure all the rocker arms are in the push rods and that the valves are operating normally. What you do is you go around. I forgot to start the video, sorry. You go around and when there's a gap on the rocker arm, you just take the gap out. And then you keep going around and checking the other rockers, and when there's a gap, you take the gap out until you have gone a full revolution or two and snugged the rockers down to where they're touching the valves, and then back off about a half a turn. And that way you have just a tad bit of slack when you're testing the rockers to make sure that they are being activated properly by the push rods. And I have done that. So at this point in time, with it in fourth gear, matter of fact, I could actually, no, it's not worth setting the valves at this point. I'll set the valves after I torque everything. But just going around like this valve's going down now, and it's coming up all the way. And there's no play, just a tad bit. Over here, it's going down, coming up. There it is, just a little bit. This valve over here should be going down pretty soon. And there he goes. Just a little bit of play. This guy should go down. Coming up. Just a tad bit right there. Okay. So all the rockers seem to be working properly. The valves are working properly. I'm going to go through and torque everything now. Okay, so let me get ready. All right, I'm going to torque these head bolts now. The center bolt gets 15 pounds. The outer big bolts get 18 pounds. I work my way up. I do 10 all the way around. Then I do 15, starting with the center. And then I go to 18 on all the way around. Just increments. So here we go. I'm going to go to 10. Okay. That's a 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. Let's go to 18. right. Well, that's 15 and 18. You notice I go click, 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 click. Some people go right down to the click and stop. I hit it 2 or 3 times. You know, I just do it just to have it. And I'll do these to 10. Actually, I don't know. Lost my little, here it is. All right. I'm going to cut this out. Let's see. Okay, so everything's torqued down. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the valves to 2 and 4. See how this goes. Got these really cool Allen head. You always got to check right here for a little circle with a wagon wheel in it. That tells you that the settings are special, not the traditional 2 and 4. So let's get this plug out of here. The top's dead center. Doesn't have a washer on it, but what the heck. I've got washers. Let's get the right tool. Kevin's top dead center tool is cool. It's double-ended. I have 2 separate ones for different years. Different threads, don't you know? All right, so that's the right one. I'll put this one back. Now I turn the engine over with the wheels in 4th gear and wait for the notch to fall in. And it just fell in. Now that should be full advance. So pull it out, get just past it. Let it come back down again. And the next time it goes in, should be top dead center. Unless this is one of the early ones that only has 1 hole. And I wish they hadn't done that. See, they gave you 2 after a while. Full advance and top dead center. There, it just fell in. Take it back out. Okay, I'll keep going. It only has the 1 position. Well done. Well, let's double check to see if it's top dead center. I have my handy dandy homemade top dead center tool. which I like better than any other tool in the world. Okay, so now, theoretically, that should be top dead center on one of these two sides. Apparently that one. Let's just see if it really is. Pull the tool out and go back and forth, going down, going back up. Yep. Okay, so the tool is at top dead center when it's in the one and only notch they provided us with. Okay, and that is apparently this one over here. So let's take this and this and this and a fancy little Allen wrench. I swear, after a while, you can hear the valves clicking and know whether or not they're set right. That's a nice sloppy 4. Keep in mind that valves don't tighten up as they wear in, they loosen. Because the wear isn't up here at the adjuster. The wear is down at the valve face when it wears into the valve seat. So, you want a nice sloppy 4 there, that's nice. Let's do a nice sloppy 2 over here. I don't know if you can hear that over there, but that's the sound of 2 and 4. All right, let's go around one more time and do this side. Here's the notch. nice sloppy 4. Okay, the top end is put together, valves are adjusted, everything's torqued. At this point in time, it's 1 o'clock. Kevin has asked me to come up to his shop and look at a bike. So I'm going to call it a day here and go up to Kevin's place and see what I can do for him. And that is all for the day.